I have a question as well, but I was away on the weekend, but I got emails instead of phone calls. But I was surprised to hear the clerk say that options 2 and 3 are in the Municipal Act, and option 1 isn't. Option 1, it seems to me, is the course that we have followed. So obviously this has been in our particular bylaws for a number of years.
That is also correct. We, in previous councils, when there was a vacancy, the council had chosen to select the next non-elected candidate on the ballot, keeping in mind that they have to have the eligibility as well. Like, it's one thing to identify them, but they still have to be eligible under the Municipal Elections Act. So the next step would be to ask that candidate, number 1, are they still interested? The second, are you still qualified? And you must provide me the qualification as you would have in a regular normal election, the qualifications that are asked for from that member. And then we go through on there. If all of that comes in and all of that matches, then at the next regular council, then we would have that member sworn in. Now, in previous years as well, when there was a vacancy in the mayor's position, the council of the day had elected to select amongst themselves, because the members knew what the issues were being dealt with around the council table, and that's how they chose to go at the time. And then once that had been done, then they selected amongst, they looked amongst themselves, and because the election was so close at hand, it was within, I believe it was within 6 months or 5 months of the election, within the time frame that they had to fill the vacancy by act, they had opted to, one of the members of council had sat at the mayor's chair, and they opted to go to the previous member of council, who was no longer a member of council, had years of experience, and who had no desire of running in the next municipal election. They asked that particular individual, would you sit on the council for the next 5 months to fill in that vacancy, and that member had accepted. That's how it all came, that's how these changes come about and become incorporated in the municipal bylaws.
Councilor Gardiner?
It was a no-brainer for me on option 1. When I looked at the results of the last election, the number 11 got 3,915 votes, and that the voters have spoken. We've also set a precedence in the past where we did take the 11th person, so the decision was an easy one for me, option 1. But also, with what we were talking about, the Municipal Act, I wish people would do their homework. They go to the media. In this case here, the homework wasn't done. Do your research. I got emails and phone calls from all kinds of people who wanted to know what we were doing because somebody didn't do their homework. For crying out loud, I'd like to ask through you, Mr. Mayor, how many hours did you spend on this frivolous stuff because the information wasn't gotten properly?
I prefer not to, Mr. Mayor.
Anything else?
Anyway, it's a waste of time, and I don't want to waste your time. I wish people wouldn't do that.
Councilor Rivette?
I also, I believe that the 11-1 should be to fill a position. Just follow up with Dennis's question on the mayor hypothetical thing. I think Denise has answered it, but that's wrong to go. Council of the day had chosen somebody internal, and they voted. So it's not somebody picking somebody, it was voted by council as a whole. Right?
Okay.
Any further comments? Councilor Clement?
Can I stand up, Mr. Mayor?
Hardly. Oh, sorry.
Our mayor is not going anywhere. He's a good mayor. He's been elected by the people of Cornwall, and he's going to sit in that chair and do his job. I didn't say the old gray mayor. I said the very good mayor that we have right now, and I'm being very serious.
You're very kind.
The resignation of a colleague is very difficult. It affects the dynamic around the council table. It affects the team. But Councillor O'Shaughnessy had a decision to make, and it was his to make, and I respect that. I want to add my personal thanks to him. I always appreciated his practical approach to things, and I'm going to miss particularly his opinion on development charges. He knows about that. I've already emailed him about that. But now it's our responsibility to keep working hard around this table. It's our responsibility to work with a new council, a new councillor, to create a new dynamic. And the public needs to know what our vision is for this community. It's our responsibility to encourage the good that's happening all around us in this community. You know, it hasn't been easy, and I want to say this publicly. It hasn't been easy for all of us around this council table, for city staff. I was out this weekend. I was in town and I was out and about, and I had friends over and I did grocery shopping and I went to church, and I kicked off the weekend with a long conversation with a young man who sees his future right here. And people were talking about the casino, and they were talking about the hospital, and they were talking about the Benson Center, and they were talking about all these things that are going on, some controversial, some happy, some positive, and all of them are making plans. They want to be part of things, they want to participate, and they all, no matter what their criticism is or was, or they all have hope for this place. And they want to know that we're working hard and that we have our own plans and that we're going to communicate that vision to people. Dealing with personnel issues like we've done in the past few months doesn't feel like we're working on a vision for the city, but we have to deal with them. Does anybody really think that we enjoy having private meetings? Well, I don't. We don't. We were elected to represent the public, and we want to be in the public eye. We actually like that part of the job. It shows whenever you watch a council meeting. But we need to protect and preserve the finances of this city. And making decisions around specific employment contracts, specific employment of specific people, making decisions about the purchase of property. The Municipal Act allows us to do that in private because it helps us to protect the finances of the city. It will cost more if we have some of these discussions in the public eye. As for this option, the 11th councillor, I support it. The Municipal Act sets out the framework, as Councillor DePel has indicated, as the clerk has indicated. We set out how we do that, and what we're doing with this bylaw is simply reflecting exactly what's in the Municipal Act. We're deciding to go with the 11th councillor, which at this time is the simplest, most straightforward, most efficient way to go. It's what we've done in the not too distant past consistently. Other councils may wish to do other things, but this one is going to go with this option, I'm quite sure. This one's going to deal with things as it's done in the not too distant past, and I support that.